Hi y'all, I'm Allison. We're getting close to the end of Murder in the Family and by Cara Hunter. I am loving this book. So, before I get into anything with our start and stop buddy read, I need to make sure you're on the right spot in the book so I don't ruin anything for you. So if you have not reached 69% of the way through the story, in my copy of the book, which is 464 pages, you should be on page 320. In the digital version with 480 pages, I think that should put you around page 331. That magical paragraph was Mitchell Clark speaking. Why the hell didn't you say? Okay, maybe at the beginning, ... So if you haven't reached that, then you need to back away from the video. But be sure to come back after you have caught up to us in the book and then proceed. So today we are going to go to our next to the last stop. We're going to make it 88% of the way through the book. And I can't wait. I want some answers, but I have a feeling we're just in for more questions. Maybe we'll get a couple of answers, but loving it. So far, everybody seems to agree that there's something up with this panel. There's no way they were all just randomly brought together, even if it was for their expertise in the thing, because they all seem to have a personal connection to this case. And I love, peeling back the layers to find out what it could be and who's behind that. Originally, I thought it was Guy. I thought Guy had some insider knowledge that he witnessed something and that he was going to finally reveal that information through the TV show, but poor Guy seems to be the one who's getting blindsided the most, and these are some brutal blindsides. Finding out Luke wasn't Luke, and then finding out his mom had an unknown child way before his sisters were born. I feel for the kid, although he's not a kid anymore. So thanks to Carol Leathers, she actually went back to the beginning of the book, I knew I probably should have, but I never did. And she discovered through the article at the very beginning that it looks like Nick, the producer, is the one who gathered these experts together to do the show. So Nick must have information to bring all of these people together because they all have a tie with the case. It's just, I don't even know what we're investigating anymore. The expert panel or the actual crime itself is everything. But first, let's look at our panel because they all seem to have their own connection to the case. We've got Mitchell Clark, who, the journalist, he showed up before the police claiming he heard it on the scanners. Right now, we're kind of thinking that he may have been the drug dealer for the girls back in their high school days. And it was maybe Luke caught him meeting up with the girls. Unsure, but there's his connection to it. So, and then we've got Layla, who's a psychologist. Now, we know, has ties to Australia, and she shares the surname with the hit and run victim that happened there way back when, the 19-year-old that was hit. Their last name is Khan, so is Layla's maiden name. And after the episode about that, revealing Muhammad Khan's identity, Layla called her mother. So it seems pretty obvious she's got a connection to that victim. Then we've got Bill, the New York cop who, seems to just be really good at getting information. But it looks like he had this information all along because it turns out he was already connected to the Eric Fulton case, which is one of the identities that are not Luke has assumed back in New York. So he had this information and did not share it with the panel until it naturally came out during their investigation. And now he's all of a sudden sharing it. So he's looking a little suspect. Why is he playing his cards so close to his chest? I don't know. And then Hugo Frazier, I would bet you money that red car that was spotted around Caroline's house actually belongs to Hugo Frazier's sister. And I was going to say, and what if the What if Caroline wasn't actually having an affair with him? What if she was looking into trying to unseal the adoption papers for her first child that she had when she was 16? Maybe she's trying to track down the kid. That's kind of an out there theory, but out there theories seem to work with this one. Here's another one that just occurred to me. There was a parallel. Caroline was concerned about Mara, her daughter, following in Caroline's, footsteps from when she was younger. Caroline got pregnant very young with somebody who wasn't suitable for her. What if Mara was with Hugo? And that's who Caroline was trying to protect her daughter from. Although, if you're worried about your teenage daughter, being with in inappropriate relationships and whatnot, why would she be out in the back house by herself at 15? Again, I hope that is addressed, because that is not normal. We also have Alan, who is one of the Met police officers. And I would say there's no way the Met police force bungled this case as badly as it appears. So he's got to be involved in some kind of a cover-up. There's got to be a cover-up on some level. Because otherwise, how did they not notice that Luke wasn't Luke? That would have come out in the autopsy, right? And the only one who I don't see a connection with yet is JJ. What about our little forensic dude? I'm curious to see if he's going to have a tie to the case. I keep forgetting about him. So I don't know. There's so much going on. Like I said, I don't know if we're investigating the experts or if we're investigating the case. I have a feeling it's going to be both. And I can't wait to dive in. And I'm so ready to go back into this to hopefully get some new answers. But I have a feeling all I'm going to get is more questions. Okay, let's move into the living room. I'm going to get comfy and read to the next stop. Okay, and Lily and I are ready to begin reading. I'm so excited. I want answers. Yeah, I kept getting his name wrong. Eric Fulton. I need to get that right. Okay, so it just came out that Bill was investigating the Eric Fulton case. And everybody's a little miffed that he didn't reveal that knowledge before. So he's been on that Eric Fulton case for 25 years. That was September of 97. So, and apparently Bill was obsessed with the case. He went to Alabama and Beirut. So Bill is saying it's not that simple. So what could there be to complicate it? He even went all the way out to Beirut and knew it wasn't Luke. Oh, he's using this investigation to find out the original case. That makes sense. He's still looking to close that Fullerton case. Okay, so Layla's asking Nick if he knew that Bill was on that case. So she might be piecing together that they're all there for a reason. Yeah. Way to go, Layla. Okay, so it looks like Bill is saying that he was the one who sought out the show, that it wasn't Nick who approached him to be on it. Because again, Bill is trying to solve the Eric Fulton case. And he knew about the Luke Ryder tie-in. He's trying to get closure for Rose Schulman, the woman who the con man got $800,000 and family jewelry from. Okay, so I buy Bill's story that he's, been hired by the Schulmans since he retired. He's trying to track down the money, and he knew that Eric Fulton had checked into the hospital after the bombing with Luke Ryder's identity, and then so he ended up out in London, and they ended up on this show. I buy all of that. I even buy why he didn't necessarily tell the Met Police Department what he knew. He knew the information would come out, and he was just kind of, keeping his own angle to himself. So, Bill claims he doesn't have any more surprises for them. We will see. And I think Nick just lucked into it. And Nick knew, because Bill did tell him part of the information. So Nick knew those cliffhangers would happen while filming the show. So, of course, he's going to want to exploit that, because he is, first and foremost, a TV show producer. He wants the drama that's going to keep people coming back. So, okay, it lines up. Wait, and what happened October? Oh, I was like, what happened October 3rd in 2003? That's when not Luke was killed. So Bill was supposed to be in London October 1st through the 4th, 2003, when the murder actually happened. But he says he never made it. Something came up. And Bill's pissed that it was even brought up. Okay, so they're going to use the photo in not Eric, not Luke's wallet. Okay, so they've tracked down the photo to a small town in Flamborough, Canada. Yeah, nobody's talking to Bill. They're really mad at him. So they're tracking down the photo, but I realized one thing with clearing up Bill's connection to the case. They all could be there for the same reason that Bill was. They could have heard that there's going to be a TV show about Luke Ryder, and they all may have volunteered to be on this panel because they have their own axe to grind or their own angle. Maybe it wasn't necessarily put together by Nick. Nick may have just lucked into a panel that has connections, which of course Nick would be very pleased about. So that is an opposite way to look at it. Because Mitchell, applying the logic from earlier, Mitchell, he's got, a bone to pick because he was detained for 6 hours by the police on the night that Luke Ryder was killed. Layla, if she is related to the hit and run victim, she would want justice for her family member, I'm assuming, by knowing that the guy was, by knowing what happened to Luke Ryder. So that would definitely pull her to the case. Hugo, maybe to protect his involvement with the family because of the red car. Maybe he's just there to mitigate any damage that may come up before it becomes huge damage, to put his own spin on it. Who else was it? Alan, if they were covering up the case, he's there to make sure that vital information isn't released. So it could be they could all have their own personal agendas or reasons for being there. So maybe Nick isn't some, puppet master after all. Although that was a fun angle to pursue. Okay, so Rebecca was his sister and was very protective of him. Talking about Jonah, the little boy from the photo. Okay, so it looks like not Luke, not Eric, could very well be this boy Jonah. When he was 17, he got a job in Nova Scotia at a high-end marina. Turns out he got tangled up with one of the wives. She lent him money, or he wheedled it out of her. Husband found out, and there was a fight. Husband ends up in the hospital, and Jonah is nowhere to be found. But his possessions are behind, and his clothes washed up a week later. So I wonder, is that when he stole his first identity and decided he wanted to be part of this jet set crowd that, running with people who have yachts and have all of the things that he didn't have as a kid growing up? Because it did say that he was a charmer. That would take a lot of planning to do. Maybe he did stay in touch with Rebecca. Maybe he's been sending her postcards or something all along. Was the tattoo on Not Luke, was that a whale? Because we did say that that was Jonah's favorite Bible story. Because at first they were saying the whale was because he was a surfer. I think it was a whale tattoo. So the age progression from the original photo does look remarkably like Luke from the wedding pictures with Caroline. So Bill's a little upset that he wasn't informed that the NYPD had already been told about the Jonah McKenna connection. Ooh, so someone was trying to track down Luke through the personals and everything. Okay, a certain phrase or something. That sounds very professionally written, like it's police or something. That isn't just, you know, the language. Like I said, it seems very, it's not layman's terms. Yeah, police officers tend to use. Alan's getting pissed. Was Alan the one who left that ad? It's Alan's sister? Okay, I did not expect that. Oh, so it looks like that might have been Alan's sister who was swindled down in Greece, the mysterious woman from the bar. And that's his connection to the case. Again, that would cause him to come forward and say, put me on this case, because he's got a vested interest in it as well. From Tarek to Nick. Sent the stills to the lab. I think it's a long shot, but I'll let you know. Okay, stills would be frozen images from video. So they're trying to enhance something. I'm curious. According to the chat rooms, Bill was in London at that conference, meaning he was there the night that Luke was killed. Oh, so episode 7 is being pushed back. And they're also airing episode 8. Okay, so I really thought Alan was there because the police were covering something up. So they really did bungle the investigation that badly. I need something to drink. So good. Oh, I run a risk every time I get up because Lily always scoots further and further towards the corners. So I always lose my spot. Okay, I had to go get the poll ready for today's vote because the December start and stop Buddy Reed selection that goes up today. I spin the wheel and y'all get to start voting. I can't wait to see what you're going to pick. Okay, I've got a few minutes before I make that poll live. So I'm going to continue reading and then I'll have to get back up again. So I'm just now starting, I guess, episode 7. Poor guy once again is left in the dark. I keep wanting to call him the kid. He keeps getting sucker punched. He's no longer a kid, but they both contacted you. Yep. So Alan specifically tried to get on the case as well. Yeah. So after word got out that they were going to do it. Yeah. Nick's hinting that even though the panel might be outraged because Bill and Alan, their backgrounds with this case wasn't made apparent at the beginning. Nick's like, just like the rest of you have been open. So, like I said, it's going to show that they all have a connection to the case. So, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Oh. So he's implying that they've done some research into everybody that's been on the panel. And Layla's surprised that they would dig into their backgrounds, their personal lives. Yeah, so Nick did purposely go out and look for people who were connected to the case. I thought so. There was no way that was coincidental. Put guy in his place. Yeah, so the backers knew what Nick was doing. Wow, Nick is a jerk. His response to Guy. And Guy is just floored that all of this information was known ahead of time and he wasn't given a heads up or anything. As unethical as it is, this would make for such riveting TV. Oh, I gotta go make that post live so y'all can vote. Darn it. Now I gotta find my way back into the couch. Sorry if I disturbed you, Lily. She's like, I'm napping over here. And I'm surprised somebody hasn't punched Nick yet. They're so mad. So some of this stuff is pure coincidence. But most of what they found is, as far as the panel goes, there is some kind of a connection, or at least the possibility. So some of them are definitely off the hook. And Nick's not going to tell him who's in the clear. So Mitch and Layla have talked about their connections, I assume, and Mitch might be about to out Layla. Man, these people are getting angry. Layla's mad, but I guess she's going to. Okay, so wait. They did have a confession on who did the hit and run. Oh, so the police were never told about this deathbed confession because the cops never called back Layla's father. And that was confessed in 2006. 10 years after her brother died. But Layla didn't realize that. Wow, Alan's gone on the offensive with JJ. So is JJ Caroline's son? Somebody thought maybe it was Mitch. I can't remember who that was. But I didn't make that connection. But JJ, I've lacked a connection for him to the case. Forgotten about that tattoo. That's your DNA profile, isn't it? Oh, that's right, his DNA. They ran it? Wow. They used his tattoo to do a DNA test on him. Look what happened. I got a phone call. I had to stand up for like 2 minutes. She took my corner. Lily. That's just mean, Lily. Sit on the edge of the couch because the dog's comfy. Oh, the things we do for our pets, right? Oops, I didn't realize my microphone had fallen off. But do you see what happened? She took my spot because I had to get up to answer the phone. She's fast. I think it was like maybe 30 seconds after I moved. And now I can't get my corner back. So I'm just going to perch on the edge of the couch. Because, yeah, my animals, I'm going to push over. Okay, so they're getting into Hugo's connection, and I called it. It was his sister's car, so he's the one who's been with the red car, and we're finally going to find out what his connection is to Caroline. And I do have to laugh because Hugo, he said it would be laughable if the whole thing wasn't such a bloody shit show, and it is. Can you imagine being a fly on the wall during this episode? Because they are all pointing fingers and accusing each other. I think it was it Michael or was it Jackson who was comparing it to Clue? This is at the end where they're all accusing each other of doing it. I love it, every second of it. I'm past trying to figure out the clues and everything. I just want to know what happens. I'm just watching with my popcorn going, yeah. Wow. So the inappropriateness apparently is race related. That Hugo's saying no, that's not the case. It's because Mara's 15, and Mitchell's saying you have no way to prove it was me. She met him at an event at her school. He was a journalist. You were a journalist, and you covered events in that area, including at that school. Because Hugo has this information from being friends with Caroline. Yeah, the man was black, and it narrows the field pretty fast. Oh, it's looking like proof to me, wrote Mitchell. So Hugo was there that night at the party. I forgot about poor Guy sitting in the room, so now he's mad about Mara, about her being dragged into it. So Mitch was seeing Mara. I thought it was a drug dealer situation. Nope, he was that boyfriend. Oh no, why did my screen go blank? Everything keeps interrupting me. My battery was dying on the phone, so I had to move the camera a little bit. It's the good part. I gotta go find out where I'm supposed to be stopping at. I think my bookmark fell out. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. Okay. There's a few more pages left, and everything seems to be just interfering. Okay, we've got Bill and Mitchell and Hugo. Everybody's having their big blowout. Well, Bill's trying to calm things down, and Guy is not happy. Okay, so Mitchell's going to tell him what really happened that night. So Mara butt dials him while he's getting gas, which him being Mitchell. Okay, I can see why Mitchell didn't come clean with the cops. You know, with Mara being 15, he was 21. You add the whole race thing to it and their different backgrounds, it would not have gone well for him. That's what you said the first time, word for word. Is he covering for Mara? Because, you know, having it word for word, that means he practiced and studied what he would say to the cops. Right? I don't know that I buy that reconstruction that they have of Mara killing Luke. I can't see him getting mad because she was walking across the yard and him grabbing her arm and that whole altercation. It seems like that would have escalated, you know, for no reason at all. It would have started as a conversation and whatnot. Yeah. See, Mitchell saying the worst, she would have been grounded, had a allowance cut or something like that. Oh. If he had been abusing her and then reacting the way she did and why the girls hated him so much. I really hope it's not going to come to that, because at the very beginning, I can't remember who it was that called that out, you know, inappropriate relationship between Luke and the girls. Wow, Hugo is just not cutting Mara any slack, saying, or maybe she did it intentionally to make it, you know, beat him to a pulp so they would never suspect a 15-year-old girl. So Mara broke up with Mitch immediately. That night was the last time he ever spoke to her. And she never said anything about Luke, anything inappropriate going on to Mitch. You know, there's something I've been wondering for a while. You know, we assume that Caroline is just automatically out of the contention for any wrongdoing because she has early onset dementia and she's off page, basically. But what if there was something inappropriate or even the hint of something inappropriate between Luke and one of the girls? Don't you think the mother would be capable of that kind of reaction in beating him that severely? and again, I forget who it was that's saying that Caroline might be a Black Widow, because Andrew died, maybe of natural causes, maybe not, and then Luke, so maybe we've discounted Caroline too readily. Finding him would be enough for a 15-year-old need therapy. Yeah, so why is Luke wearing a jacket? Okay, so I don't know. I just reached the end of the spot, and I want to keep reading. Oh, I feel so bad for Guy, though, having all of this stuff just thrown out there like that, and this is his family that is being discussed. I don't think Mitchell is guilty. I think he was there because he was, fooling around with Mara. If Mara... See, I'm thinking that maybe it was Caroline. Although she wouldn't have had time to change clothes either. Because if, Mara did go and change clothes and everything, that would account for the lack of mud in the house. Because we were talking about how the police missed, there was no muddy footprints. But if after she discovered the body or anything like that, she went to her own quarters in the back house, showered, cleaned up there, then she wouldn't have mud on her shoes. Although she still would have had mud because she would have gone back through the yard to the front. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. There's so much. I think I'm just gonna wait and let things play out. I guess I'm going on record as saying Caroline. Although, honestly, I don't know that was possible. Guy wouldn't have done it. In defense of his sisters, no, because he wouldn't be so shell-shocked with all of these revelations and everything. And I really don't think he would have wanted to do the TV show if he honestly, if he knew, even on some level, that his sister or his mother was. I don't know. I want to know y'all's theories because I'm just like, what? I am loving this though, and I hate having to put it down. We've got one stop left, so with Thanksgiving and everything coming up, I might actually finish this tomorrow instead of waiting until Sunday. Typically, that's what I do. I let the video go up so I can get y'all's take on everything and discuss it in the next video. But with me being sick, we got behind on scheduling and all of this stuff. So Thanksgiving is coming up fast, as well as decorating the house for Christmas. So I don't know. I may read tomorrow and then have the last part go up on Monday. Or I may wait till Sunday. We will see. But we will be reading to the end in the next video. So I don't need to give a magical paragraph this time, because after you watch this, you are free to proceed to the end of the book to find out. And you will see my reaction to it on Monday. I am loving it. Thank you once again, Stacie, for bringing this book to us. All right. I can't wait to see what you think about today's, and I will talk to you down in the comments.